going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 31 Days of Horror. I am your host, Mood616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yes, day 17 here on the 31 Days of Horror Volume 5. And we are going to take it back to 2016 with an anthology film that I've actually been waiting to watch since last year. I believe I got this Blu-ray around this time last year and intended to watch it or do a review on the 31 Days of Horror. And it just never came about. I don't know what happened, but of course, it being a Halloween-themed anthology, I was like, well, shit, the season had already passed. I'll wait till next year. So here it is, 2016, 3 Dead Trick-or-Treaters. It's a horror anthology, all Halloween-based, from Canada, actually. All directed by Torn Langan. So basically, the construction of the film, it's got 4 short stories, and it's got a wraparound also. And in my opinion, that's what really kind of makes a true anthology film. Now, I've always stated this before many times on this channel and the podcast and stuff, that anthology films that don't have wraparounds just feel like compilation movies to me. Just a bunch of shorts put together, just compilations. Those aren't really true anthologies. True anthologies are, in my opinion, 4 short stories in a wraparound. So this has like a perfect construction for an anthology. I mean, 3 in a wraparound is fine too, but I feel like 4 in a wraparound is right where it's at. So with this one right here, it starts out with the wraparound story. It's basically about this paper delivery boy who discovers these marked graves. He's got these crosses on them and stuff, and on each cross there's a piece of paper with a story attached to it. So he kind of goes up to it and he starts to read it. Then it jumps into the first story, which is called Fondue. It's basically about these kind of later teens, I guess I want to say. It starts out kind of all nice and happy and stuff. They kind of meet up, and then they end up going to this store where they buy some masks, and instead of going out trick-or-treating, they go back to this like abandoned house and basically torture and kill people. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. These are really short. This whole anthology only runs about 75 minutes, so the shorts are short. I don't want to give everything away and stuff. The second one is called Malus Maleficarium, and it basically deals with, it's like a cult thing. It's based off the Bible and stuff. It's essentially a witch hunt. These kind of later teens, maybe early 20s, they've basically abducted this dude. They've got him strapped to a huge cross, and they're going to torture and burn him and stuff. And of course, one of the people that's involved in this cult's not really down with the whole thing, and it kind of goes haywire from there. Then the third story is called Stash, which is about these young 20-year-old people or whatever. They're homeless, and what they do is every year they trick-or-treat, and they save their candy. They put it into this hole in the ground and stuff. And one of the guys kind of turns on them, starts to eat the candy and stuff, and then it goes like haywire from there. Then the fourth story is called Delivery. It's about these crooked police officers that are essentially killing people for money. With that, and then it's got the wraparound, which I'm not even going to really talk about the wraparound story too much because it's so short. I don't really want to give everything away. And there goes my dog. So my thoughts on the whole thing. Now, this whole anthology is directed by Torn Langan, which is kind of cool because the whole anthology has the same type of feel through the whole thing, and that's one thing about anthologies, that it's a pro or a con. Because you get anthology films that are directed by a bunch of different directors, and it kind of gets all over the place. You can feel the differences in the tone and the atmosphere and stuff like that. With this one, it keeps its tone and atmosphere through the whole thing. It's amazing. Now, the very interesting thing about this anthology is that it's a silent film. There's no dialogue in this entire thing. It's all done with acting, expressions, things like that, which is actually really unique. It's it's very much a throwback to the silent era, the German expressionism type films. It's exactly that right there. And the score works so good for this. I think he keeps the same atmosphere for the whole thing perfect. The tone's awesome. It's very dark and dismal. It's very doom and gloom. And I love that. The score really accentuates the stories, which are all doom and gloom, dealing with homeless and crooked police and cults and all this type of shit that's kind of scary. Like things that are actually, in reality and stuff. And other among things and stuff. So, but yeah, the score, they do such a fantastic job with that. I was really impressed with it. I didn't really know what to expect because going into this, I heard a lot of people have a lot of mixed reactions about this, saying it was really bad. like on the scale from really bad to like really awesome. So I was like, well, where am I going to stand on this? And, you know, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was actually really well done. It's pretty gory. It doesn't really hold back a lot. I mean, like I said, the shorts are short, so they, you know, they don't really have a lot of time to actually put in a lot of stuff, but it gets to the point quite well in all of them. And I think the gore in this is actually really well done, especially in Fondue. It gets really nasty. And same with Stash. You know, that one's kind of nasty too. And you know, there's a couple other parts in it and stuff that are pretty gory. But yeah, I mean, it's not like over the top gore. It just, the gore kind of fits the stories is what I'm trying to say. But overall, as an anthology, I thought it was really well done. Again, I'm a big fan of the wraparound story and how it kind of ties in, you know, mediocrely to the other stories, but it does have it reoccurring through the whole thing, which I really enjoy. And I like the idea of this guy finding these graves and then, you know, reading these stories and shit. It's really cool. But other than that, man, there's not really a whole lot more to say without giving everything away, because like I said, it's really short. You know, when you got 4 stories in a wraparound running 75 minutes, do the math. I mean, they really run, you know, what is that, like 15 minutes a piece? Not even 15 minutes a piece. So, well, around 15, but give or take, the wraparound's the shortest. So, but 3 Dead Trick-or-Treaters, man, if I had to rate this one, I'm going to come in at about an 8 out of 10. You know, mood and atmosphere and imagery and cinematography and things like that, to me, are huge points to these films. And I mean, when you're doing an expressionism, silent type film, that's really what's going to sell it for you. And I think they do a really good job with all that in here. Yes, it's low budget, but low budget doesn't mean shit either. I mean, a lot of people look at these low budget films like, oh, you know, that's just low budget. I'm not going to give it the time of day. And I get that all the time, you know, with people are like, oh, I don't watch those low budget films. I'm like, well, fuck. I mean, if you're only into mainstream films, that is what it is. I'm not hating on you, but, you know, give it a shot for what it is. It obviously did pretty well, played at a lot of festivals and did a lot of big things and stuff. And I can see why. You know, it's definitely unique. You know, it's ballsy. You know, it's a very artsy film, but at the same time, it's not like too artsy where people can't appreciate it for what it is. So, 3 Dead Trick-or-Treaters, man. I enjoyed it. 8 out of 10. Fun stuff. So that's going to do it here for day 17. Check you guys tomorrow on day 18. I already know what I'm doing for tomorrow. I think this is probably the first time I've actually picked a film for the next day as I'm reviewing. So check you guys then. And as usual,